Hey there. In this video, we're going to go through how to bill for a case in Beacon. So this video is intended for operations and admin users. So here we are on our case. We just finished bringing this case to a pending payment status in the previous video. And so that means that the PO has been added to this case and it's ready to invoice. So you can see in this event that we have pending payment status here. And let's actually just cycle back to the dashboard. There are a couple things to talk about when it comes to managing the billing for your events. The first one is the pending PO widget. This is a really good way to keep track of which events are still pending PO. You can see all of them right here when you log in. And then you can even click the To Events link, which will jump you to a filtered view of all of the events with pending PO status. So these are the cases that you still aren't paid for because you don't have a PO. So keep that in mind. Next, there's a couple ways to stay on top of your pending POs in addition to just filtering and looking at them. The first is if you go to your settings and go to organization settings, you can set up the weekly PO reminder email. So this will send a weekly email reminder to each user with their outstanding purchase orders. So super useful automated thing. Next, if you go to a particular user's account, in the upper right corner, you can ad hoc send them a PO reminder email. So if you bring that up, it will automatically send an email with their pending PO events. And then lastly, if you go into a facility, each facility now has a setting to automatically send PO reminder emails on a weekly basis. So between all of these options, you're going to be pretty up to date on your PO, your pending POs, but it's good to make sure you have all those set up. So we're going to head back to our events, click on our pending payment event here, and finish the invoicing process. So we can see in this event screen that this event was set up to automatically send invoices when the PO is entered. So if I go back to the settings in the organization and scroll down, there's this setting available: auto send invoice email on receipt of PO number. If you have this turned on, then whenever a PO number gets entered, the invoice will automatically be generated and sent off to the appropriate facility default email, which you set up in your directory. So if we head back to the events screen, that's why we have these timestamps here. That's why we already have an invoice number and why the invoice has already been sent. But I'm going to show you the options just so you see them anyway, and you can trigger them manually, because even if it's been sent automatically, you can still access the invoice, you can still put automatically, and you can resend it if you need to. So in the event screen, you can click the More menu, and you can see that we have this Generate Invoice menu right above the Sales Order menu. So the Generate Invoice menu allows you to download a PDF of the invoice. You can also download a CSV of the invoice. This could be, if you want to edit it in Excel or work with that data, or if you want to use that CSV to import it to a financial system. You can also send as an email attachment, which is basically the same screen we looked at for the sales order. It'll just send off the invoice instead, and it'll go to a different default email if you have that set up differently in the directory. And then lastly, you can download a PDF for QuickBooks. I'll also note that you can export your sales order to a financial system if you have that integration set up, but we're going to go over that feature in another video. So please tune into that video to see more on that. So essentially what you want to do is generate your invoice and send that off to the facility using one of the methods we just talked about. And if you've sent the invoice, it's a good idea to check the box for processed. Processed can mean whatever you want it to mean internally. If there are other steps that need to be taken before something can be considered processed. But you can check that box here just to signify to everyone else in your company that this event is in some state of being processed in the billing pipeline. And then once you actually get paid, you can check the invoice paid box. And once you actually pay your commissions out, you can check commission paid. Once you've checked all 3 of those boxes, the system will update the event status to paid, and this event will be considered done. That's the end of the pipeline. So I'll also note in the event screen that if you're scrolling through here, you can mark an event as paid with one click right here on the event list, just clicking this button here. That'll check all 3 of those boxes and mark the event as paid. So you may be wondering, how do I set up commissions then? Because we just talked about paying commissions, but you don't have them actually set up. So head over to your user section, click on the user in question, scroll down to the commission section, and here you can enter their commission rate if you haven't already. This should really be entered when they are set up. I'll also note that in the assignments, if you go to physicians, you can actually set commissions on a physician by physician basis for each rep. So that's a way of getting an even granular level of commission control. But once you've entered your commission rates, you can head over to reports, go to events and sales, and there's a lot of different useful reports here. The first we can go to is the unpaid commission report. This will show us any events with commission still showing as unpaid. So that's a good reason to use those checkbox, is we will be able to report on them. So you can see all of the events here. This is probably the easiest way to manage paying your commissions, because it's showing you what's outstanding and it's calculating it for you. You have some filters here on the right if you want them, but this is a really useful report. And then if I go back, I wanted to show you also, there's the variable commission rate report. So if you have commission rates that are, even more variable than we allow for, the variable commission rate report might help you to calculate those. So in this instance, we let you choose what commission rate is showing in the report, in the filters here, and you are calculating 2 different rates. One that's paid from the manufacturer to the distributor, and then one that's paid to the rep. So this allows you to calculate actually 2 different rates, if that's kind of the situation that you're dealing with. So those are 2 reports that are super useful. We obviously can report on sales, revenue, anything like that as well. Please check out the training on our reports. That'll go more in depth into how to run these and how to find the information you're looking for. So that was our training on how to go through the billing workflow. Please tune in to our next training video to learn more.